everyone, my name is Aparna Rangnikar, and as the Festival Director and Curator, I welcome you to the 4th edition of the Visual Arts of South Asia Vasa Arts Festival. The festival was started by Arts and Culture Initiative of South Asia, fondly known as AKISA, to promote South Asian art and introduce its unique flavor to mainstream art enthusiasts. It is also a platform to local and regional professional, emerging as well as amateur artists. The festival has annual art exhibition called Colors of South Asia. It has art workshops and community art project. Over the years, the Vasa Arts Festival has grown to partner with local art organizations to collaborate with various events during the festival. Although putting together this year's arts festival due to the current situation has been a bit challenging and a huge learning curve to facilitate a virtual exhibition, it has also been a rewarding experience. We were able to reach larger audiences and received an overwhelming response to our nationwide artist call and have almost 40 artists participating in the Colors of South Asia. And what's even more exciting is that more than 20% of these participants are youth. I would like to thank all our funders for their generous support and our art partners for their collaboration. Do visit our website vasaartsfestival.ca to view the inspiring Colors of South Asia virtual exhibition. Get to know the artists on the Vasa Facebook page. Give them a like, leave them an encouraging comment, and follow us to participate in some amazing workshops that are offered by our art partners and some of the participating artists in this year's exhibition. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Amrita Virdi. I've been an instructor at Visual Arts Mississauga for 6 years. I have experience teaching children and teens painting, drawing, and sculpture. And in 2019, I was an artist in resident with the Visual Arts Mississauga Creative Residency, where I got to share my own practice with my own community. In this workshop, we are going to be creating an abstract painting and a surrealist collage. I'm going to be using some oil paint, and I'll be sharing some techniques that I use, but you can also follow along with acrylics or whatever type of paint you have. You will need a gessoed surface, especially if you're using oil paint, so that it doesn't oxidize your paper or canvas. If you're using oil paint, you will need some kind of odorless mineral spirit. You can also use turpentine or linseed oil, and this helps your oil paint dry faster. It almost acts like your water for your oil paint. I will be using a variety of different brushes. For the background, I like to start with big brushes, and then we get more into the collage. I like to use smaller ones for detail. So for the collage portion, if you're using acrylic paints, you will need some kind of adhesive. You can use any kind of school glue or any glue medium. I will be using some beeswax some cold wax that I've made from beeswax, and just a little bit of mineral spirit. I also have some magazines that I've collected and some pictures that I've cut out. You can use any kind of photographs, things from the newspaper, really anything that you find. I also had some dried up flowers, so I'm going to show you how you can incorporate these things into your painting. So I like to start doing my background with a nice big brush. You can just dip it into your odorless mineral spirit and get it wet, just like you would with acrylic paints and water. So I like to put the paint directly on the canvas sometimes. Today I'm going to teach you a method that's called double loading your brush. I'm going to be adding some yellow and some orange, just like that. You can even triple load your brush. I like to put white in between sometimes. And I like to just go for it and see what happens. It's good to hold your brush as far back as you can. I feel like you get a more fluid line when you're starting out, and there's more room for intricate blending. I'm going to dip it back into my odorless mineral spirit, get it a little more wet, and I'm just going to pull the paint. It's easier when you hold the back of your brush to get a wider gesture of your motion, and it helps your whole arm move instead of just your wrist. So I'm not worried too much about the final look of it. I'm just going to move the paint around. I'm going to add some more of the same color, or maybe this time I'll just use some yellow and some white. And I like to get thick paint on there. Oil paint takes a long time to dry. Depending on how thick you're applying it, it can even take a month to dry. And that's why your mineral spirit will be good, because it thins out your paint and then your painting will be dry in a couple days. So it's good to have a few different brushes just around you at the time, because I feel like with oil paint, if you add too many colors all at once, your colors start to become muddy, especially yellow, because I feel like it's so easily transformed into a new color. But sometimes I do an entire background with just one brush, because I like to see the different reactions that the colors make. So I'm just gonna go in to some of the green now. Sometimes I even like to work on the floor, because I feel like I get a wider range of motion, so you can even get up and start dancing and see what your body wants to do. I really enjoy just mixing colors. And seeing what the colors do together. I like to see the reaction between the two colors. Sometimes it helps too to midway just rotate your canvas, because I feel like every good abstract piece is always balanced either way that you rotate it, or has a good composition anyway. So remember, we're still going to add collage to this, so it doesn't have to look like a finished composition, but I just want to get the entire background filled. And you can always paint on top of paint. And I feel like whenever I'm stuck, I like to go back into the white, and that really helps with the depth of the colors. So I'm starting out by just working with line. And then I step back and I start to see the shapes that are starting to come together, and I'll start to close the shapes in. And then you'll start to see some form. See, now all the layers, like the yellow that I've started with, are starting to pop through and come back into my glue line. I like to go over the same area until I'm satisfied with it, but your lines don't have to be fluid, they can be more erratic. If this is how you're feeling, then that's how you're feeling, right? I mean, I feel like painting is the one time where I don't have to work by any rules. It's just exactly how I'm feeling. And I feel like if you just give the paint a moment, you can see how it's reacting with you, and you can just, it's like a play, it's like a dance. You're dancing with the paint. I'm gonna go back into it with some orange. And I'm gonna thin it out. You can even play, if you like playing with drips, you can get more linseed oil on there, and it acts just like water. But now I'll be able to go back into these areas and start to fix them. So I'm gonna switch my brush because this one's really dirty. And maybe get some more lights back in here. There's always room to fix. You can always paint on top of paint. Just gonna get some more white. I feel like whenever I'm stuck, I add some white into there. And all my shapes start to come to life a little bit. I like to get some thicker pieces of paint on there. Like sometimes I just like to scoop on paint. I'll add some purple too, that'll be fun. And that's like more of an impasto kind of technique. So you can see how much paint I put up on there. And I'm just gonna go for it. It's really fun to go back into the paint and scrape the paint, and you can start to see like what was there, or the idea of what was there. So again, I'm just trying to create some final shapes. I want to get the full canvas covered because the oil paint works as a really good glue for the images. A lot of people always ask me, how do you know when you're done? And I feel like I never really know when I'm done. It's usually when I frame it or it's all finished, but I feel like the paint is kind of talking to you. So I ended up rotating my painting back to how I originally had it. And I feel like a lot goes into my paintings. So I often feel like there needs to be some sort of narrative. So through my experiments, I've added elements of collage. I like to just look through magazines and see what catches my eyes. And I like to take things from their context and pull them out and add them to my own world. I also have a collection of images of pre-cut images that I've selected. Because I'm always collecting different things that I like. And it always has to feel right. Yeah. And I feel like I have become a more confident artist by working with children because I see that they often don't hesitate when they are making art. And they're very confident about what they want. So I feel like I just try to listen to my intuition while I'm making art. And things can always be like scraped off and ripped off. Or you can paint on top of the images again. So because I've used oil paint and I've used it pretty thick, I can actually just apply my image straight on to the oil paint and it'll catch it. If you're using acrylic, you'll probably have to, this is the time where you'll have to add some glue to your work. So what makes it a surrealist collage is because I'm often changing different parts of it. So if I have like a figure of something, and I want to add it to that, then I can maybe change it or transform the image. Maybe that means cutting the image in half, or maybe adding a line to somebody's head. So this is where I start to use some of the cold wax that I've made. You can buy this stuff at the store too, or you can make your own. And I just am going to apply it to the back of my image and put it right on top. And I'm just going to use my hand as a tool, whoops, to place the image in the right spot. I often feel like when I'm working by myself, I get stuck, or I feel like, why am I doing this? So I feel like the artist residency was a good place for me to work with other artists who were working in different mediums as me, and it was always nice to see their perspective of my work. I feel like I learn a lot about my work from other people. So I'm still just putting some encaustic wax on the back just to give it that extra security. And I'm going to start to make a little world. I like to use some of the same image. I've just cut it up into 3 different sections. So sometimes I like to cut them into pieces and place them along so that it starts to look like a more cohesive work. It's gonna fall off. So in areas like that where my paint is not thick enough, that's where I'm using that cold wax medium. And again, you can use glue, you can use whatever you'd like. There's no rules. So I'm gonna add that right there. And before, we can add this piece maybe. Let's see. So I do a lot of like, is this okay? Or maybe it should be here. It's good to move things around, and I mean, this might not even be my final piece. This guy might not even make it to the end of the piece, right? So I like to play with things, and there's no real final composition until a lot of time has been put into it. So I like to work with images that already have a perspective into it and then add them onto my page with the dimensions to make it look like they're actually living in my paintings. So I'm gonna hang this melting clock, maybe, where should it melt? Maybe right here. So even layering images starts to make your image, layering images makes your whole composition start to look more complete. It's all about the time that has been put into it. So I also before said that I had some dried up flowers, and the cold wax, and you can use any kind of texture medium for this too, but the cold wax is really good to hold different things. Even the oil paint will, just like that, even the oil paint will hold something that you want it to. Like I have some really thick impasto pieces right here. Maybe this dried up lavender can stay right in there. Show you how to use some of the wax. Just put it down. Maybe use this piece. Yeah, and I'm just gonna keep going with it. So now to more fully integrate my images into my paintings, I like to go back into them with a thinner brush and either paint around them or on top of them even. So it's even easier to change what's going on in the image. So I might start with some white to highlight this piece. Can go into it and change little details. In most of my work, everybody has some blue hair. If you're a part of my painting world, you have blue hair. Maybe we'll give the lion some bits of blue. It's really important for me to have fun with what I'm doing. And that's why I think I went to collage, because doing realistic painting took away from my love of just the process and the pigment itself. This is a fun time for me to get those thicker pieces back, because if I just scoop, and I like mixing colors, if you scoop different colors on there, you can leave them, and because it's oil, it'll hold its shape. I'm just trying to get a more cohesive look for the painting, and if some of the same colors are in the range of each other, it starts to look more like one world. Maybe give this guy a red cape. And you can use the paint to also lock your images again. So I usually just go back and forth from painting to collage until I feel like it has some sort of story. And I feel like whenever anyone asks me, like, what does this mean? I feel like the story changes depending on who I'm talking to or even how I'm feeling. But I like to see, or I like to hear what other people
have to say about it. And then I feel like the story even changes again for me. Once I've gone back and forth with the paint and the collage and I finally feel like it's done, I sometimes let it sit for a couple days and tweak some things. When I finish the complete thing, I feel like I like to put it in a colorful frame, or I like to gloss it just to seal all the image together. I feel like it's a really important time to be making art right now, especially in our own isolation. I feel like it's hard for me to even make art, but it feels good when I do. It takes a lot of energy out of me because I'm not around my same community, but I feel like just the act of making art and doing something and knowing that I'm making this because it's important can impact another artist or anybody else. I feel like we have a hard time identifying as artists even, but I feel like we are all artists and we should all be making stuff because there's so much that's like stuck inside right now that we just need to express it. So I feel like my goal right now is to create art that makes me really happy and that's whimsical and fun. So thank you for watching my video. Have a great night, and visit visualartsmississauga.com for more information about our center.